My son stood up at our family dinner and told a room full of people that I was nothing. His mother, my ex-wife, just stared at her plate. Her new husband smiled like he'd won something. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just went home and started making calls. By Monday morning, I'd begun taking back everything I ever gave him. The car he drove, the apartment he lived in, the company he thought he built. He was about to learn that everything in his world had my name on it. My name is Garrison Merrick. I'm 68 years old, and I spent 20 years with the Navy Seabees and another 30 as a civil engineer. I built my construction firm from nothing, sold it 5 years ago, and walked away with enough to retire comfortably. Not rich, just secure. That Friday night at the Commonwealth Club was supposed to be a celebration. My son Derek had just closed a $2 million contract for his IT consulting company. 12 people in a private dining room, me, his mother Carolyn, her new husband Philip, a couple of Derek's clients and their wives. I wore my good suit, the charcoal one from my retirement party. Next to Philip's Italian silk and Derek's designer everything, I might as well have been wearing coveralls. The dinner started fine. Wine, small talk. Then Derek got comfortable. "You know what separates the winners from everyone else?" he said, gesturing with his wine glass. "Vision, the ability to see what's coming and position yourself for it." He looked at Philip. Like Philip here, he understands the new economy, consulting, high-margin services. Then he looked at me. "No offense, Dad, but your generation worked hard in the dirt. You never learned to work smart." I set down my fork. Carolyn shifted in her seat, but said nothing. "I mean, look at the difference," Derek continued, playing to his audience. "Dad spent 40 years on job sites, building things for other people. Philip built a consulting practice. He advises CEOs. That's modern success." One of the clients laughed uncomfortably. "That's why Mom upgraded." He said it like it was a joke. "She went from blue-collar to boardroom." Philip smirked. Carolyn studied her wine glass. I looked at my son, tried to find the kid I taught to fish, the boy who used to hand me tools in the garage. He wasn't there. This man in the expensive suit with the big watch, I didn't know him. "Derek," I said quietly. "That's enough." "Dad, come on. I'm just saying Philip gets it. He's a winner. You're old school. You never took risks. Never built anything for yourself. You're a worker. There's no shame in that. But it's different from what we do." The table went silent. I folded my napkin, placed it beside my plate, stood up. "Excuse me," I said. "Enjoy your evening." "See?" Derek said as I walked to the door. "Can't even take a little honesty. That's the problem with his generation." I heard Philip chuckle as the door closed behind me. The drive home took 20 minutes. I didn't turn on the radio. My head was loud enough. I'd spent 15 years funding my son's life. Not obviously. Through structures and shell companies, because I thought if he believed he'd earned it himself, he'd grow into the responsibility. I thought I was teaching him confidence. I was wrong. I'd taught him arrogance. My house is a brick ranch I helped build in 1987. 3 bedrooms, a workshop in the basement, nothing fancy. But it's paid for, and it's mine. I sat on the back porch, watched the stars come out. Around midnight, I went to my office and opened the safe. The folder read, "Emergency Protocol, Derek." Alicia Warren and I had assembled this over 5 years. Every legal structure, every ownership document connecting me to Derek's life. Insurance. A failsafe for if he ever went so far off the rails that only a complete reset would save him. Tonight, he'd crossed that line. I opened my laptop and typed an email to Alicia. Subject: Execute Protocol. Alicia, Monday morning. Your office, 8 a.m. Begin dissolution procedures. All assets connected to Derek. Time to remove the scaffolding. Garrison, I hit send. Then I sat there in the dark, staring at the screen. My finger hovered over the power button. I could still stop this. Call Alicia Monday morning. Say I overreacted. Derek was drunk. People say stupid things when they're drunk. But he wasn't wrong, was he? I did work in the dirt. Maybe this was just wounded ego. I walked to the workshop, found the first toolbox I ever bought. Battered, rusty, still functional. I'd built a good life with these tools, an honest life, and I'd raised a son who thought that life was worthless. No, I wasn't wrong. I just wished there was another way. Alicia Warren's office is on the 40th floor overlooking Centennial Park. She's been my attorney for 25 years. When I arrived Monday morning at 8 a.m., she was waiting with coffee. Black, no sugar. "Garrison," she said, handing me the mug. "Are we really doing this?" "We are." She sat across from me, not behind her big desk. "Walk me through what happened." I told her, all of it. The dinner, the comments, Carolyn's silence, Philip's smirk, Derek's complete lack of awareness that he'd just insulted the man who funded his entire life. "He called Philip a winner," I said, "and me old school, a worker who never built anything." Alicia was quiet. Then, "He has no idea, does he?" "None." She pulled out her tablet. "Okay, let's review the structure, then we'll talk timeline." "Derek's company," I said. "DM Digital Systems. 6 years ago, he wanted $500,000 to start it. If I'd just handed him cash, he'd have burned through it and learned nothing. So we created Vanguard Capital Partners," Alicia said. "The shell VC firm that discovered him." "Which I funded. Derek thinks he pitched Silicon Valley investors. Really? He pitched me. And Vanguard owns 60% of his company, which makes me the majority shareholder. I appoint the board. I control everything." I took a sip of coffee. "He thinks he's the owner. He's really just the highest paid employee." The company had done well. Derek was smart, genuinely talented at sales and technology. 50 employees now, 8 to 10 million a year in revenue. He drew $180,000 in salary, thought he'd built it all himself. "The car," Alicia continued, "BMW 7 Series, leased through Merrick Holdings LLC, your entity. He thinks it's a company car. Really, you've been making the $1,200 monthly payments. For 3 years. And the apartment. The penthouse. This one was more complicated. 4 years ago, I bought that building through Ironwood Properties LLC. Paid $4.2 million. Good investment. The neighborhood was gentrifying. When Derek applied to rent the penthouse, my property management company offered him an executive incentive lease. $900 a month instead of $4,500. He thought the landlord was impressed with his success, when really, his father owned the building. Exactly. Alicia scrolled to the last item. And Philip. My jaw tightened. Philip Voss, the winner. He runs a consulting practice with exactly one client. Derek's company pays him $15,000 a month, $180,000 a year, which flows from your trust through Derek's company into Philip's account. The man my son looks up to, the man my ex-wife left me for, his entire lifestyle is funded by me, his mortgage, Carolyn's car, everything. The irony burned. The winner is on the worker's payroll. Alicia leaned back. Timeline? 3 weeks. Official termination notices today, 30 days per Georgia law. Week 2, emergency board meeting. Week 3, I exercise my rights as majority owner. Suspend Derek as CEO, freeze accounts, repossess the car, deliver the eviction notice, terminate Philip's contract. Controlled demolition, Alicia said. Exactly. One piece at a time. Let him feel each loss. She made notes. Garrison, this is going to devastate him. I know. It might destroy your relationship permanently. I know that too. I met her eyes. But Alicia, the relationship I had with him wasn't real. It was based on my lies. I let him believe he was self-made when he was completely dependent. I enabled him to become cruel. This is the only way I know to teach him the truth. She studied me for a long moment. I hope he learns from it. But Garrison, I want you prepared for the possibility that he won't forgive you. I'm not doing this for forgiveness, I said. I'm doing it because it's right. He needs to stand on his own foundation, even if that foundation is rock bottom. Okay, she nodded. But Reggie... She only called me Reggie when she was serious. This will destroy him. Are you sure? I thought about Derek's face at that dinner, the contempt, the certainty that I was less than him. No, I said quietly. I'm not sure, but coddling him already destroyed him. Maybe this can save him. Alicia nodded and started drafting documents. I stood at her window, looking out at the city I'd helped build. Bridges, roads, buildings that would stand long after I was gone. Now I had to tear something down, the hardest demolition of my life. Derek's Monday started normally. Coffee in his penthouse, expensive suit, the BMW waiting in the garage. He was still riding high from Friday, from closing that big contract, from putting his old man in his place. By 5 p.m., a courier showed up at his office. Signature required. 3 large manila envelopes. Inside were notices, legal, detailed, with effective dates and citations. Notice of board meeting, DM Digital Systems. Notice of lease agreement review. Notice of contract termination, vehicle agreement. He probably skimmed them, thought it was clerical error, some administrative screw-up his assistant would sort out. He had no idea the ground was already shifting. The next 2 weeks were quiet. Derek received registered letters, made confused calls to attorneys who gave him vague answers. He tried calling me. I didn't answer. Week 3, everything collapsed at once. Monday morning, Derek arrived at his office to find an email from the board of directors he'd never met, never spoken to. Emergency meeting. 9 a.m. Your attendance required. The meeting was brief. 3 men on video conference, expensive suits, corporate voices. Mr. Merrick, as you know, Vanguard Capital Partners holds 60% equity in DM Digital Systems. We're exercising our rights under the shareholder agreement. Effective immediately, you're suspended as CEO pending a financial audit. Interim management will be installed. Your salary continues, but all financial authorizations are revoked. What? You can't... I built this company. You manage this company, Mr. Merrick. You don't own it. This meeting is concluded. The screen went black. Derek tried to access the company accounts. Denied. Credit cards. Declined. Bank accounts. Frozen. His phone rang. Philip. Derek, what the hell is going on? My consulting payment didn't deposit. The bank said the account was frozen. I know. I'm trying to figure it out. Figure it out? Derek, I have bills due. This is my income. Your mother is asking questions. Fix this. Now. The call ended. Wednesday morning, Derek came down to the parking garage. The BMW was gone. In its place, a tow truck driver with a clipboard. Derek Merrick? Yeah, where's my car? Repossessed, sir. Terminated lease. Contact Merrick Holdings LLC about your personal items. Repossessed? That's impossible. The lease is paid. The driver handed him paperwork. I just do the recovery, sir. Take it up with the leasing company. Derek called. Got a polite voice explaining that Merrick Holdings had terminated the lease per section 7B. Breach of contract, recovery was immediate and final. What breach? The payments are current. You'll need to contact the account manager in writing, sir. Then connect me to them. They don't take calls, sir. Madison picked him up. She was furious. How does a company just take your car? Call the lawyers. The company attorney reviewed the lease and went quiet. Derek, this is solid. Merrick Holdings owns the vehicle. You were an authorized user. They have the right to terminate. You signed it. That can't be legal. It's completely legal. Did you read it before you signed? He hadn't. Thursday evening, Derek came home to find a notice taped to his door. Notice of lease termination. Per your lease agreement, Ironwood Properties LLC provides 30-day notice of termination due to breach of contract. You must vacate by June 15th. Failure to comply will result in formal eviction proceedings. Madison read over his shoulder. No. They can't do this. We have a lease. Derek stared at the notice, at the name, Ironwood Properties LLC. Then he looked at the other notices. The car, Merrick Holdings LLC. The company, Vanguard Capital Partners. Different names, all moving at once, all destroying different parts of his life. This wasn't random. This wasn't bad luck. This was coordinated. And there was only one person who would do this. Friday morning, Philip called again. His voice was different, higher, panicked. Derek, I just got a termination letter. My consulting contract, 30 days. They're ending it. That's my entire business. That's everything. What did you do? I didn't do anything. Then fix it. I have a mortgage, Derek. Your mother's car payment. The club membership. This is our life. I'm trying. Trying isn't good enough. Philip's voice cracked. Your mother is asking what's happening. What am I supposed to tell her? That her brilliant son can't even manage his own company? The call ended. Derek sat in his office. Still his office for now, surrounded by walls that were closing in. His phone buzzed. Text from Madison's mother. Madison is staying with us for a while. She needs space to think. He stared at the screen. Car gone, money frozen, home being taken, wife leaving, Philip collapsing. Everything, all at once. And behind it all, invisible but unmistakable, was his father. That night, Derek drove Madison's Honda to my house. He showed up at my house Thursday evening. Didn't call, just showed up. I was on the back porch reading when I heard pounding on the front door. I took my time getting up, looked through the peephole. Derek. Face red, tie loosened, hair a mess. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. I opened the door. You, he said. His voice was raw. This is you. All of it. The car, the company, the apartment. This is you. I didn't deny it. Come in, Derek. I don't want to come in. I want you to stop this. Whatever you're doing, whatever you think you're proving, stop it. Come in, I said again. We need to talk. Really talk. He stood there, breathing hard, fists clenched. Then he pushed past me into the house. I led him to my office, the small room where I'd planned all of this. I sat down behind my desk, gestured to the chair across from me. He stayed standing. Why are you doing this? Because of Friday? Because I said some things? This is insane. Sit down, Derek. I don't want to. Sit down. Something in my voice made him do it. He dropped into the chair, glaring. I turned my monitor so he could see it, opened a folder. I'm going to show you something. You're going to listen. No interruptions. When I'm done, you can ask questions, okay? He nodded, jaw tight. I opened the first file. Your company, DM Digital Systems. You remember getting funded? Flying to San Francisco, pitching Vanguard Capital Partners? Of course, it was the best day of my life. You thought they saw something special in you. They did. No, I said quietly. They didn't. Vanguard Capital Partners is a shell company, created by my attorney specifically to fund your business. I put in the initial $500,000. Every additional capital injection, another $800,000 over 6 years, came from me. I showed him the corporate structure. Vanguard, owned by my trust, controlled by me. You own 35% of DM Digital Systems, Derek. I own 60%. You're not the owner. You're an employee. The board of directors you've never met? That's me. Every major decision was approved by me. His face went from red to white. You can't. I can. And I did. I opened the next file. The car. You needed a BMW for client meetings, but you couldn't qualify for the lease on your own. So I created Merrick Holdings LLC. I've been making those $1,200 monthly payments for 3 years. I showed him the paperwork, his signature on the agreement he'd never read. And the apartment. I opened the building purchase documents. I bought that building 4 years ago for $4.2 million. You don't have an impressed landlord. You have a father who owns your home. The deal you got? I've been subsidizing your rent by $3,600 a month. Derek was shaking his head. No. You told me you couldn't help, that your money was tied up. I lied, not to hurt you, to help you. I thought if you believed you'd earned everything yourself, you'd develop character, discipline, humility. I leaned forward. I was wrong. All I did was create an illusion, and you lived in it so completely that you forgot reality existed. Mom knows. She knows I built that company. Your mother knows I gave you seed money. She doesn't know I own the company. Nobody does except my attorney and me. I opened one more file. And Derek, your hero, Philip. I showed him the consulting contract, the monthly payments. Philip Voss has one client, you. Well, your company. Which is my company. That $15,000 a month? It comes from me. The house he lives in with your mother, her car, the country club, all funded by consulting fees I pay him. The man you called a winner? He's on my payroll. He's been on my payroll since he married your mother. Derek made a choked sound. Not words, just a broken noise. I closed the laptop, leaned back. Friday night, you stood up and told 12 people I was a failure. Old school. That I worked in the dirt while men like Philip built real success. I was drunk. You were honest. Drunk people tell the truth, Derek. And you think that because you've been living in a fantasy where everything came easy, where money appeared and opportunities fell into your lap. I stood up, walked to the window. I built you a stage, son. Beautiful lighting, perfect script. You performed so well you forgot it was a stage. You thought it was the world. I turned back to him. I'm not destroying you. I'm removing the illusion. I'm showing you what's real. By taking everything? By taking back what was mine, what I loaned you. I sat back down, looked him in the eye. But Derek, listen carefully. I pulled out one more document. I placed the document on the desk between us. DM Digital Systems is still operating. I've installed interim management while you're on leave. The company is sound. Employees are taken care of. In 5 years, if you can demonstrate real competence, real humility, and real growth, I will sell you 51% ownership of that company at fair market value with a payment plan you can afford. He stared at the paper. What? You'll have to earn it, Derek. Get a job. A real job. Maybe not in tech. Maybe something that humbles you. Something that teaches you what work actually costs. Save money. Live within your means. Prove you can build something without my money propping you up. If you do that, if you really do that, the company can be yours. Actually yours. Why? He looked up, tears in his eyes. If you hate me this much, why give me anything? I don't hate you, son. I love you. That's why I'm doing this. The man you've become, arrogant, entitled, cruel. That's not who you are. That's who I let you become by making everything easy. I gestured to the documents. This is me being a father. Finally. I stood. You have 30 days to move out of the apartment. I've arranged for storage. Madison can stay with her parents. You'll figure it out. You're smart. You're capable. You've just never had to prove it. I walked to the door, turned back. I taught you to fish when you were 7, took you camping, showed you how to use tools, how to read plans. You remember? He nodded, not trusting his voice. Then you know how to build something real. You just forgot. This is your chance to remember. I left him there, surrounded by the ruins of his illusions, and went back to my porch. The next 6 months were hard. Madison filed for divorce. She'd married Derek for his success, his potential. When those disappeared, so did she. Philip's consulting contract ended. Without that income, he had nothing. Within 2 months, he was working at Best Buy for $22 an hour. Carolyn stayed with him, I'll give her that, but had to get a part-time job at a boutique. They sold the house, moved to a 2-bedroom apartment. One Saturday morning, I was at a coffee shop. Carolyn walked in, saw me, hesitated, then walked over. "Can I sit?" I gestured to the chair. She ordered coffee. We were quiet. "I'm sorry," she said finally, "for that night, for not saying anything when Derek said those things. We've been divorced 12 years, Carolyn. You don't owe me anything." "I know, but I'm saying it anyway." She looked at her coffee. "I chose Philip because he seemed successful, confident. Turned out he was just good at spending other people's money. Derek learned that from us. From me." She met my eyes. "You were a good husband, Garrison, a good father. I got caught up in appearances, and I let our son get caught up in it too." I nodded. "Is there any chance you'll forgive him?" "That depends on him," I said. "On what he does next." I gave him a path. A hard one, but a path. If he takes it, there's a chance. She stood, left $20 for her coffee. "I hope he becomes half the man you are." Derek moved into a studio apartment, 400 square feet, got a job as a project manager at a mid-sized IT firm, $95,000 a year. A step down, but decent. For 5 months, silence. Then one day, an email. Subject, small win. "Dad, I closed my first sale at the new job. Mid-6-figure deal. I did it myself. No connections, no safety net. Just me and the work. It felt different. I'm not asking for anything. Just wanted you to know. Derek." I read it 3 times, saved it, didn't reply. A week later, another. Subject, question. "Do you remember teaching me to tie a bowline knot? I was maybe 8, fishing. You said it never slipped, but you could always untie it. I've been thinking about that a lot. I started therapy. She asked when I felt most loved by you. That's what I remembered." Derek. This time I replied, "I remember. Keep going." 6 months after I executed the protocol, Derek texted, "Can I come by? I'd like to talk." I typed back, "Sunday, 2 p.m. Bring work gloves. Why?" "We're building a bookcase." Sunday afternoon, he showed up in jeans and an old t-shirt. He looked different, thinner, tired, but more real. "Hey," he said. "Hey." We worked for 3 hours, measured, cut, sanded, didn't talk much, just worked. Around 5, Derek set down his brush. "I'm sorry for what I said, for how I treated you, for everything." I kept brushing. "I know. The job's going okay. Apartment's small, learning to cook. It's hard." He paused. "It's also the realest I've ever felt." We finished the bookcase, stood back. "It's solid," I said. "It'll last." We walked to the porch. I got us both a beer. We sat as the sun went down. And people ask if I regret it. The answer is no. I spent 15 years building my son a life he didn't earn. I thought I was helping. I was wrong. Real love isn't giving someone everything they want. It's giving them what they need, even when they hate you for it. Derek needed to fall, to hit bottom, to learn what it feels like to build something with his own hands. My son called me a loser that night. He was half right. I was losing my dignity, my self-respect, my relationship with my son to a comfortable lie. So I stopped losing. I took back what was mine, set boundaries, demanded better, and in doing so, I gave my son the greatest gift I could give, the chance to earn his own life. That's not revenge, that's love, the hardest kind.